Mr. Cat's over here. Wants to be part of what's up, don't you? Yes, and then I wish to bite you. So go fuck yourself. Anyway, hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. It's Monday. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I don't remember what I did. Ran some errands. Ooh, bought some supplies to make this. A brand new, cheap and nasty pedal board. And it's exactly like the one that the Helix lives on, but I'm making it for a brand new purpose. And I'm going to show you how I did it. And you can make one. Beat it, cat. That's right. It's my only weapon against the cat. It's the only thing he fears. And I'm going to show you how I did it. I did it in under an hour once I had all the supplies together. It cost about 44 bucks. The last one cost about 36 bucks, but then again I used different corners, slightly different marine vinyl. This one, actually, I like this one better, a little bit. Oh, dude, here, let me show you something. I like this one a little bit better, even though you'll see along the way I had a bit of an issue with it, but it turned out to be a non-issue. Once the adhesive dried, all is well. So, I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, these are the Pedalboard Supplies. Now, the board, I just went to Lowe's. They have this pressed together, glued up 12-inch wide pine. It's 3/4 of an inch thick, and I bought the 48-inch size, had them cut it down to 32 inches because that's all I'm going to need. Hopefully it's going to be more than enough. We'll see. I've got the marine vinyl, and this is 1 yard of marine vinyl. It's enough to do 2 of these pedal boards. 3 if you were really stingy about it, I guess. But I'm not going to be, because I need to, overlap it on the edges, bring it around the back, and staple it in on the other side. And then I put these little corners on it, like so, and they hold the, they keep this from, coming out of the glue bond on the corners, and it keeps the corners nice and tight. Very nice cabinet handles, kitchen handles from Lowe's. These are about $5 each. They're probably one of the more expensive single items. A 3-banger power supply, because I just want a little one to live on the pedal board around about here-ish. And I'll probably cut this cable down and put a hospital plug on the end, because I don't want to have a big cable flopping around. Or do I? I don't know. And the biggest goddamn rubber feet you've ever seen. These are awesome. They get it off the floor damn near an inch. So those are great. I got a bunch of these on eBay years ago. I think I got like 5 or 6 pedal boards worth for like 10 bucks. And they're incredible. They go in with these really big ass screws. So, and I've got cat hair and stuff all over the place. That's fun. Problem with these things, some of them came with the right size screw, which is 1 inch. Some of them came with 1.5 inches. That is not going to work. So I've been cutting them down with my trusty old as shit dikes, and I just want to make sure that it's at least as long as the other one, because if it's not at least as long as the other one, then it's not going to really work. So, and this sucker will do it for you, for me. It'll cut them. Yes. And the good thing about this is, with the smaller one, they're actually a little bit floppy inside the when they're threaded in, which is not great, because that means they have the tendency to go loose over time from being moved around and stuff. Once you cut one of these suckers and you thread it in, it's not going anywhere. It molds to the threads. It's great. So I'm going to cut another one of these. I've got the high strength 90 3M contact adhesive it's going to hold the marine vinyl down to the top and the sides. Although, you know, pulling it around the sides and then stapling is what's really going to, you know, hold the sides down. But I put contact adhesive on the top, also on the back of the vinyl, and then on the sides. I don't do it on the back because those, you know, it's not important. But this stuff is super toxic, so make sure you spray this outdoors or in a ventilated area, someplace where there's a fan, an exhaust fan blowing. And I'm going to do it in my laundry room because it's only 36 degrees outside. And you're not supposed to shoot this in under 40-some degrees, I believe. It just won't hold. So that's what I'm doing. Step one. Also, the marine vinyl, what it is it's actually, it's meant to be used on upholstery for boats, which is why the name, marine vinyl. Okay, the lady at Joann Fabrics was nice enough to fold this in the middle for me so that I knew exactly where the middle was, and I cut down that middle line. Now I've got about, you know, I want to have about 3 inches of overlay on all sides, all the way down, and then also on this end. So just roughly cutting it a little bit beyond that at this point, just to be safe, because less is not more in this situation. Now we'll just make it all fit and do the, whoops, there goes my microphone. Son of a bitch. Takes a big man to admit when he's been wrong, and I've been wronged. No, using the adhesive probably wasn't necessary because it's actually burning little holes through the vinyl. Not really holes, but it's compromising the backing of the vinyl. And I, you know, could have just have a few staples that need to come out. But you know, probably could have done it without that particular adhesive, and been just fine. But it's going to get covered up anyway, so I don't give a shit. And since it's, you know, for me, I'm not, you know, trying to sell these things. I don't care. Everything I have will be Velcroed to the wood below. So what I do is I set up, well, I'll demonstrate it as we go along, but I'll set up my, my pattern for my Velcro, and I use the dual lock Velcro, the industrial strength stuff, not that hook and loop bullshit. And I cut out the vinyl so that it's actually adhering to the wood itself. That way, the top of this will never lift off. So that's why I don't really give a shit about the top. Anyway, now I'm going to fit it, remove a couple of bad staples, and move on. Okay, here's what happens when you rush a corner. You end up like this, with that. But here's why I'm not sweating it. I have these corners. I put this corner on right here, a foot down here, and then this is what you'll see. So all is well. And, you know, from the top, none of that matters. I don't look at the bottom. I don't live in the past. I don't sweat my mistakes. I just move on. It's like nothing happened. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Back from Lowe's. I decided to get 4 corners and larger corners. The other one's a little bit small. So, you know, with these, they're going to cover more area. They're going to hold things in tighter. And I also didn't have any screws for the other ones, so these come with 16 screws that are meant to be used in this direction because they are they're whatever that head is called. They're not the pen head, which would be for this side, so these will stick out a little bit, but I don't give a shit. Pen head screws would have been better, but guess who doesn't give a shit? The modeling on the top has sort of mellowed out because the adhesive is dried, so that's not really a worry like I thought it was earlier. That's all good. Now I'm going to get out the drill my pilot holes for all these screws and for the, what do you call it, the feet, and then I'm going to position the handrails, or rails, the pulls. Handles. Jesus Christ. Okay, I have the feet on. And they are hardcore, heavy duty. An important thing, and this is one of the only real important things as far as the cheap and nasty pedal board is concerned, is making sure that you have at least a ½ inch of clearance on this side from where you drill your holes in. Because if you ever pick up the pedal board by its handle, and I do it all the time by one handle, you're actually putting a bunch of stress on this wood, and if this wood doesn't have at least ½ inch between where you drill and the side, it can actually split out. So that one little thing I don't fuck around with. I don't cheap out on that. So I make sure that I measure, make sure I've got my ½ inch, I've got plenty, and the spacing between this the posts are 3 inches, so I need 4½ inches equally on each one to equal the distance. Make it, you know, nice and even. I'll use a silver Sharpie now that I have my spots. So what I'll do is I'll mark where I'm going to drill, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Blah, blah, blah. Drill out my holes, and then attach my handles. The handles are on, and they are super secure. And since this is a cheap and nasty pedal board, I didn't use any washers. You could put a washer under there, and it would, you know, wouldn't tear up the vinyl, but I don't give a shit about the vinyl on the other side. It's fine for me. But, you know, if you're anal about that kind of shit, use a washer. I'm going to pre-drill my holes for the corners now, and then install the corners. Then we'll be done. This will be the cheap and nasty pedal board in under an hour. Another important step, since I'm going to be drilling against the grain, you know, across the grain, I should say, is setting up my points for pre-drilling of the side guard, the rails, the holes, making sure that everything's pressed down firmly, and we center these things well, because these can you know, get out of whack, and then, you know, if one drill hole is out of whack, and then, you know, the whole thing can just sit on there at a weird angle, and it won't be cool. These things are only really great when they're level and even all the way around. So I make sure that my holes are good on the other side. Set my marks, holding it down really tight, because that's, you know, the way you want it, especially on one where there's fabric hanging off. Time to pre-drill. Here's the moment of truth, Ruth. See if the holes line up on a corner piece. So let's first trim this sucker, because it doesn't need to be all that under there. It just causes problems. So we just lay it out, screw them in. Hope for the best. Did I drill this one? Hey, guess what I didn't do? I missed a set. Some bitch. Well, let's drill, shall we? All right. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm drilling. Anyway, let's see if we can get one to fit. That would be super swell if it did. And not split the wood up. That's the danger with using a drill bit that's too small. Whoopsie. This balancing act is bullshit. There's a definite danger of splitting the wood. It's only 3/4, but being 3/4, it's, you know, much harder than ½ inch, which I would never go with ½ inch for this kind of job. That's just too damn small. Too thin. 3/4 is the perfect. Hey, fella. Lose your head, bro. 3/4 is the perfect size for pedal boards, I think. And pine is the perfect wood for it. Well, this one's going to be a bit of a bitch, I can tell already. So you just need to make sure that you're you get your edges, the two on the outsides, to sit in the right place. Then the other two will have to fall in line. They don't have a choice. They go in really snug, especially with this size drill bit that I used. So, uh-oh. That's the sound of wood splitting right there. Yep. Bit of a split on that one. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ream out the other holes all that much more so that we don't have any more splits. Ta-da! Look at that. Cheap and nasty pedalboard number 12 is complete with the big ass rubber feet. Look at those suckers. God damn that profile. And the corners, they're not just an aesthetic choice. They actually help a lot because I carry this up the stairs and I bang it on the stairs from time to time, and you know, the corners on mine are nice and scuffed, but the pedalboard is in great shape. There you have it. Cheap and nasty pedalboard. It cost me about 43 bucks all told. Not a bad deal. And later in the week, I'll show you what I'm going to put on it. Woohoo! There you go. Scott's cheap and nasty pedalboards. It's got big ass rubber feet, really heavy duty corners. The handles are perfect. And this one is gonna house an interesting array of things that I'll show you later on in the week when when they all show up. Not Helix related at all, but you know, super fun. So I'll see you in a little while with another video for more of the Essential 70s Volume 1 presets. Stay tuned, and I'll see you then. And until then, rock on.